I declined to lend my neighbor my truck during her move. That weekend, my tires were slashed and a note was left on my windshield that read, "Enjoy standing still?" I confronted her and she said, "Help delayed is harm delivered." But when my insurance company pulled camera footage from across the street, they found someone she claimed wasn't even in town. I'm a 43-year-old guy living in Colorado Springs, in a quiet neighborhood that used to feel like home. I've been here for close to a decade. I've worked my ass off to keep my place in good shape. Nothing fancy, but it's mine. I replaced the roof last year, fixed up the backyard, and keep the lawn tight. I stay out of people's business, and I expect the same in return. I drive a 2005 Ford F-250. It's not pretty. It's got dents, and the paint is faded in spots, but it runs clean and strong. I use it for my job, HVAC, and sometimes help my brother with his side business doing roofing and light construction. That truck is more than transportation. It's my work, my money, my way of getting through life. Carly moved in 3 months ago. Early 30s, single mom, 2 kids. From day one, she was loud, messy, and didn't seem to care about the neighbors. Her kids would leave scooters on my driveway. Her friends parked all over the street and half in my yard more than once. I didn't say anything. Figured it was temporary chaos. I gave her space. One Wednesday evening, she knocked on my door. She was holding her phone, looked like she was texting someone, and had a can of Red Bull in her other hand. "Hey," she said. "I'm moving this weekend. Not far, just a few blocks. I need a truck. Can I borrow yours?" I blinked. That's how she asked? No warming up. No offer to trade or pay. No mention of gas or how long she'd need it. Just straight up, "Can I borrow it?" I told her, "Sorry, Carly, I need it for work this weekend." Her smile dropped immediately. "You're using it all weekend?" "Yeah. I've got a job Friday and Saturday, maybe Sunday too." She stared at me for a second, then nodded. "All right. I see how it is." She turned and walked away. "No thank you." "Nothing." I didn't think too much of it. Figured she was just annoyed. That Friday night, I was out in the driveway changing the oil. Carly was outside too, packing up boxes into some borrowed SUV. A couple of her friends were helping. She didn't look at me. I didn't look at her. We went about our business. Saturday morning, I got up early like always. Went out to load my truck and go meet my brother at the job site. But I froze in my driveway. Every single tire was flat. Not just deflated, slashed. Deep, clean cuts, like someone took a box cutter to them. I stood there for a second, trying to process it. Then I saw the note under the wiper blade. "Enjoy standing still?" I felt the heat rush to my face. I looked around. Nothing. No one. Carly's SUV was gone. Her driveway was empty. The street was dead quiet. I knew in my gut it was her. She was mad. I said no. And this felt personal. I called the cops. Filed a report. They shrugged like they always do and said without video or a witness, not much they could do. So I called my insurance company. They told me if I could find any camera footage, it would help my claim. I remembered the couple across the street. Don and Rachel. Retired. Real quiet. I've helped Don a few times when his mower wouldn't start, so I figured it was worth asking. Turns out, they had a Nest Cam setup pointing toward the street. Don didn't hesitate to show me the footage. What I saw made my stomach turn. Timestamp, 2:38 a.m. A man in a dark hoodie walks up to my truck. He moves fast. Slashes the front left, moves to the back, repeats. Then crosses over and does the other side. The whole thing took maybe 2 minutes. But as he turns to walk back toward Carly's side of the streetlight catches his face. Tall. Goatee. Tattoo on the left side of his neck. I'd seen that guy before. 2 weeks earlier, I saw him in Carly's garage, fixing something with her. She told me she was single. That her ex was out of state. She said she was raising her kids on her own. Even said she didn't talk to her ex anymore. But that was him. I'd bet money on it. I brought the footage to my insurance guy. He took it seriously, said it would speed up the claim. But I could tell they weren't going to chase this. Unless charges were filed, they'd just pay out and move on. That wasn't enough for me. Sunday afternoon, I walked over to Carly's house. She was in her front yard yelling at her kids to pick up their stuff. I stopped at the edge of her lawn. "Carly," I said, "someone slashed my tires Friday night." She looked at me. Not surprised. Not confused. Just annoyed. I kept going. "There was a note. Said, 'Enjoy standing still.' You didn't see or hear anything?" She tilted her head. "Maybe the universe is trying to slow you down." I stared at her. "You serious right now?" She smiled. "Help delayed is harm delivered." It hit me like a slap. She was quoting some twisted version of justice like it made her look smart. I said, "So I don't give you my truck and now this? You think this is fair?" She leaned in. "I think people get what they give." I walked away before I did something stupid. But inside, something flipped. She thought she could mess with me. That because she had friends or a guy who could do dirty work, she could scare me into being useful. She thought she was untouchable. She was wrong. I started digging. Quietly. She had 2 different last names on her mailbox. Hers and someone else's, maybe the ex. I ran both through local court records. Found something. A restraining order, filed then dropped. Evictions from 2 different rentals in the last 5 years. A small claims case from someone who said she borrowed money and never paid it back. I wasn't dealing with just a bad neighbor. I was dealing with someone who made chaos a lifestyle. So I called someone I knew. A guy I used to work with in HVAC who now works part-time as a private process server and does skip traces on the side. Told him I'd pay cash if he could help me find the guy in the footage. The ex. 3 days later, he sends me back a name. Ramon B. Several priors. Assault, vandalism, even a protective order violation in another county. Guy had bounced around a lot. And he was definitely staying at Carly's house. Her ex, wasn't in town. Guy had slashed my tires in the middle of the night. And she was laughing about it in my face. That's when I knew I wasn't just going to let insurance handle it. I was going to drag this into the light, 1 inch at a time. I didn't tell anyone what I was planning. I waited. The following weekend, I rented a car and parked it 2 blocks away. Still couldn't use my truck, tires were still at the shop, and I was waiting on replacements from insurance. But I wasn't sitting around doing nothing. I took that week to collect everything. I printed out the video footage still from Don's Nest Cam with Ramon's face clear as day. I got copies of the court records, the dropped restraining order, the eviction filings, everything. I had a folder starting to grow thicker by the day. Then, one night, I noticed something else. Carly was running some kind of side hustle out of her garage. I saw people coming and going late at night. Sometimes they carried boxes. Sometimes they were in and out in 5 minutes. I wasn't sure what it was, but it didn't feel right. I made a note of it. Took a few pictures from my upstairs window. Then on Wednesday, I got a knock on my door. A sheriff's deputy. He asked if I had any issues with my neighbor. I told him. "Why? You guys finally doing something about the tire slashing?" He said no. He was following up on a noise complaint from her. Carly had reported me for aggressive yelling and said I was causing a disturbance. That's when I realized she was trying to flip the script. She wanted to get ahead of whatever she thought I might do. Paint me as the problem. I told the deputy about the vandalism. Showed him the insurance report, the video footage, even the note. He raised his eyebrows. "You got all that?" he asked. "You file a formal report?" I did. "No one's called me back." He said he'd follow up. That was the start of something. A few days later, 2 patrol cars pulled up to her house. I watched from inside. They knocked. She answered. There was a lot of talking. I couldn't hear anything, but I could see her body language change. She was trying to play it cool, but her arms were moving more, face flushed. They stayed for about 20 minutes. Then they left. Later that night, her ex Ramon stood outside smoking a cigarette on her porch, staring across the street. At my house. I didn't flinch. Just let him look. I went back to work Monday, but I kept digging. I called a contact at the city's housing department, someone I'd met on a job a couple years ago. Asked if he could check into permits. Turns out, Carly didn't have any active permits for her garage business. Not even a home occupation license. Then came the break I didn't expect. Don and Rachel, the older couple across the street, came by with cookies. Said they noticed all the stress lately. Don pulled me aside while Rachel chatted with my wife in the kitchen. Just so you know, he said, we installed a second camera last month. It faces her house. I stared at him. You got anything from the last 2 weeks? He nodded. Want to see something? I followed him back to his house. Sat down at his computer. He pulled up a clip from 2 nights ago. 1:16 a.m. A guy, Ramon, was walking from the alley behind Carly's house, carrying 2 black trash bags. He tossed them into the trunk of a gray sedan, wiped his hands, and left. License plate clearly visible. Don looked at me. I don't like getting involved, he said. But you don't deserve this. I got a copy of the footage. Passed it to the same investigator who helped me before. He ran the plate. The car was registered to Ramon's cousin in Pueblo. The cousin had a record too. Drug charges, petty theft. Not small-time guys. That garage operation? It wasn't furniture or thrift stuff. They were using her house to move product. And she was neck-deep in it. This wasn't just about slash tires anymore. This was something else. Bigger. That's when I made the next call. To an old friend of mine who works with a local DA task force. I told him everything. My buddy from the DA called me back after 3 days. I can't promise anything, he said. But if they're moving product from that garage, we'll know soon. He asked me not to get involved anymore, just keep my eyes open and let him do his job. That was hard, but I trusted him. I sent over every photo, every video, the court records, and even notes I'd taken. I didn't know what they'd be able to use, but I gave them everything. A week later, I woke up to blue and red lights bouncing off my bedroom walls. It was just before dawn. I pulled on a sweatshirt and went to the window. 4 unmarked vehicles. 2 black SUVs. 1 marked patrol car. DA agents, sheriff's deputies, AK-9 unit. All parked outside Carly's house. They moved in fast. No sirens. No yelling. Just solid practice movement. Someone knocked once. Then again, louder. No answer. Bam. They kicked the door in. It was quiet for a few seconds. Then screaming. A woman, Carly, yelling. Get off me! Then a kid crying. Then silence again. I stood there frozen. Then stepped outside. An agent saw me and walked over. You're the one who submitted the footage? Yeah. You did good. I didn't ask for details. I didn't need to. They arrested 3 people that morning, Carly, Ramon, and a 3rd guy who'd been crashing in her garage. They found drugs in hidden compartments, counterfeit cash in her bedroom closet, and a stolen handgun in the basement. Her kids were taken by CPS. I didn't celebrate that part. No kid deserves that. But I wasn't the one who put them in that mess. She did. A few days later, an officer came to my door. We're officially charging Ramon with felony vandalism for your tires, he said. The DA's adding it to the drug case. You'll probably get a restitution check. I laughed. I'm not holding my breath. But it wasn't about the money. The part that hit hardest came 2 weeks after the raid. I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. From jail. It was from Carly. I almost didn't open it. But I did. It read, "You didn't have to destroy my life. All I needed was help. People like you think you're better. But one day you'll need something too. And I hope no one gives it. No apology. No ownership. Just bitterness." I sat there and read it twice. Then I lit a match and burned it in a coffee can in the backyard. After that, I replaced my tires, got my truck detailed, and cleaned every trace of her off my mind. She was gone. Her house went up for sale 4 months later, sold at auction to cover legal fees. I heard she took a plea deal, 5 years inside with 2 suspended, plus mandatory rehab. Her ex took the full sentence, 8 years federal, no parole. Last I heard, she was trying to get custody back after release. But in our neighborhood, she was a ghost. No one said her name. Her house stood empty for a year before a retired couple bought it. As for me, I got a new security system. New neighbors. Quiet street again. And I never loaned out my truck. Not because I was afraid. But because some people don't deserve second chances. Some people don't need a favor. They need consequences. And I made sure Carly got all of hers. Down to the last tire.